The Galactic Council chamber echoed with the chittering laughter of 1,000 species as Ambassador Aaein Vasquez stood at the central podium, her weathered hands gripping the edges of the crystalline lectern. At 73, she had seen humanity's first tentative steps into the galaxy, witnessed their rapid technological advancement, and now faced what many considered their greatest folly. The humans wished to establish a colony on Kepler 442c, announced Council Speaker Zixathera, her forearms gesturing dismissively at the holographic display showing the distant world. A planet with a rotational period of 11 standard years. The laughter grew louder. The insectoid Zephyrians buzzed their wings in amusement, while the crystalline Vorthak resonated with harmonic mockery. Even the normally stoic Drakmori let out low rumbling chuckles that vibrated through the chamber floor. 11 years, wheezed Administrator Kolth of the Merchant Ynnari Coalition, his three eyes weeping tears of mirth. These short-lived mammals want to settle a world where a single day lasts longer than their average lifespan. Ambassador Vasquez waited. She had learned patience in her decades of diplomatic service, watching her hair turn silver while arguing for humanity's place among the stars. Her dark eyes, sharp despite her age, scanned the assembly with the calm of someone who had weathered far worse storms than alien derision. "Honored delegates," she began, her voice carrying the weight of authority earned through years of careful diplomacy. "The Terran Federation formally requests colonial rights to Kepler 442c. "Absurd," cried the Ynnari administrator. "Your people live barely a century. You would die before seeing a single sunrise on that world." More laughter erupted. The dolphin-like cetaceans whistled their amusement, while the energy beings known as the Lumina flickered in patterns that conveyed cosmic humor to those who could read their light language. Elder Mordun of the ancient Threnari slowly rose from his meditation pod. At over 3 millennia old, he was among the most respected voices in the council. His voice when it came was like wind through ancient caverns. "Young human," he said, the word young dripping with the condescension of one who had outlived civilizations. "Do you not understand the mathematics of futility? Your entire species has existed for what we consider a brief moment. This world's seasons span centuries. Its weather patterns shift across millennia. What could your ephemeral race possibly accomplish there?" Elena's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Around the chamber, delegates nodded in agreement with the elder's wisdom. The Vorthak chimed their crystalline approval, while the militant Raksari drummed their claws against their armor in rhythmic agreement. "Perhaps," suggested the Serpentine Naga representative with false kindness, "the humans should consider worlds more suited to their temporal limitations. There are many pleasant worlds with standard rotational periods where they might establish brief but comfortable settlements." The condescension was thick enough to taste. Elena had heard variations of this throughout her career. The gentle suggestions that humanity should know its place, accept its limitations, content itself with the scraps left by longer-lived, wiser species. She thought of her grandfather, who had worked the same patch of farmland for 60 years, watching the seasons turn, planting trees he knew he would never see fully grown. She thought of the cathedral builders of Earth's medieval period, who laid foundation stones for structures their great-grandchildren would complete. She thought of the generation ships that had carried the first human colonists to distant stars, crews who died in transit so their descendants might walk on alien soil. "Honored Elder Morden," Elena said, her voice carrying across the now quiet chamber. "You speak of our temporal limitations as if they were weaknesses. But has it occurred to you that perhaps they are our greatest strength?" A few delegates shifted uncomfortably. The elder's ancient eyes narrowed. Elena continued, her words measured and precise. "You, Elder, have lived 3,000 years. In that time, what great works have you begun? What monuments have you built? What impossible dreams have you pursued?" She paused, letting the questions hang in the air. "Or have you, like so many immortal species, convinced yourself that there is always tomorrow for such endeavors?" The chamber fell silent. Even the constant background hum of the life support system seemed muted. "We humans know something that your long lives have made you forget," Elena said, her voice growing stronger. "We know that time is precious precisely because we have so little of it. Every day matters. Every season counts. Every year is a gift that must not be wasted." She activated her personal display, showing images from human colonies across the galaxy. "Look at what we have accomplished in our brief centuries among the stars. the Martian Terraform Project, completed in 80 years by engineers who knew they would not live to breathe the finished atmosphere. The Deep Space Archaeological Mission to the Forerunner Ruins, a 200-year project managed by families who passed down their research through generations. The Proxima Centauri Orbital Ring, a construction project that took 150 years, built by workers whose great-grandchildren would be the first to walk its full circumference. The images showed massive structures, thriving colonies, technological marvels that had impressed even the galaxy's eldest races. "You see short lives," Aaein said, her voice now echoing with quiet power. "We see urgency. You see temporal limitations. We see focused determination. You see the impossibility of long-term projects. We see the beauty of generational dedication." Elder Morden leaned forward, and for the first time in centuries, uncertainty flickered in his ancient eyes. "Kepler 442c will test us in ways no world has before," Aaein acknowledged. "Its 11-year days will span careers, relationships, entire lifetimes. A human born at sunrise might die of old age before noon, but we will build there anyway. We will create settlements designed to function across seasons that last decades. We will establish research stations that gather data across centuries. We will plant forests that our descendants' will harvest." She looked directly at each delegate in turn, her gaze unwavering. "We will succeed not despite our short lives, but because of them. Because every moment matters to us. Because we cannot afford to procrastinate or assume there will always be tomorrow. Because when a human starts something truly important, they build it to outlast themselves." The chamber remained silent. Aaein could see the wheels turning in alien minds, the slow realization that perhaps they had misjudged the fierce little species from Sol 3. Elder Morden spoke first, his voice thoughtful. "Your proposal is unprecedented. The logistics alone will be challenging," Aaein agreed. "But humans have never been deterred by challenging. We've built civilizations on worlds of ice and fire, in the depths of space and the hearts of gas giants. We've learned to thrive wherever there is challenge because challenge forces us to grow." The vote, when it came, was closer than anyone had expected. The final tally, 547 in favor, 523 against with 127 abstentions. Humanity had won its right to attempt the impossible. As delegates filed out, chattering in dozens of languages about the strange persistence of the human species, Elder Morden approached Aaein's podium. "Ambassador," he said quietly, "I have lived 30 times longer than any human ever will. But today you have taught this old being something new about the value of time." Aaein smiled, the expression transforming her weathered features. "Elder, patience isn't about having infinite time. True patience is knowing your time is limited and choosing to use it wisely anyway." 57 years later, as Aaein's great-granddaughter stood in the first sunrise plaza of New Geneva, on Kepler 442c, watching the ancient star finally crest the horizon after 11 years of night, she whispered a prayer of gratitude to the grandmother who had argued for humanity's right to dream impossible dreams. Above them, carved in stone that would outlast millennia, were Aaein's words, "Time is precious precisely because we have so little of it." The colony thrived,